All right, let's roll. So settle in. You think you know me. A drink, a bottle, a buzz. But I am much more dangerous than that. I am alchemy. I am obsession. I am centuries of rebellion and centuries of control. Tell me, have you ever wondered why a single grain could command empires, build fortunes? For just a sip of me, I was never liquid. I was story. I was sin. I was sanctuary. And now, I've crossed oceans, escaped the shadows of Scotland, found new soil, new skies, and written a new chapter. This is my story. This is my saga. Long before I became the liquid gold you know today, I was something simpler. A primitive beer. But what even is alcohol, you ask? It's the result of a tiny, fascinating war. Well, it's yeast doing what it does best. Feasting on sugars and converting them into alcohol. But there's a catch. Historically, I was pretty weak, a mere 3% alcohol in beer, wine, a little stronger at 7 to 9%. Even the modern yeast can't take me beyond 6%. Why? Because yeast, for all its magic, is also its own enemy. The more alcohol it creates, the more it poisons itself. Eventually, it dies, and the party's over. But I was destined for more. That's where distillation changed everything. It's simple, really. Heat me up. Alcohol has a lower boiling point than water. Capture the vapor, cool it down, and voila, my ABV skyrockets. This wasn't discovered here, though. My origins stretch back further. The earliest proof of this genius comes from the Akkadian tablets of ancient Mesopotamia. This is Mesopotamia. 3000 BC. The first civilization, the first cities, the first written records, and somewhere in all this, the first hint of me. The Mesopotamians built temples to the gods and mapped the stars, but they also mastered an ancient art. The first alchemists were making perfumes, oils, medicines, learning the alchemy of transformation, and somewhere along the way, they stumbled upon something more. The Akkadian tablets, the oldest written records of distillation. A Greek philosopher, Alexander of Aphrodisias, described something new, taking seawater and distilling it into pure drinking water. Centuries passed, knowledge traveled. The idea of extracting a spirit was closer than ever. The process was perfected, but the purpose was still unknown. That was about to change. This is Scotland, raw, wild, and unapologetically stunning. Europe was waking up, rediscovering the ancient knowledge of the Greeks. Among these treasures was the art of distillation. But to understand how I came to be, we must turn to the monks. The monks weren't just holy men, they were alchemists. They took their crude beer and did what had never been done before. They boiled it, and what came out wasn't beer anymore. They called it Uisca Beatha, the water of life, a name that over time would become whiskey. And then I was recognized, officially. The first written record of me appears in 1494, in the Exchequer Rolls of Scotland. The King of Scotland himself sought my creation, a royal request to make whiskey from 8 bowls of malt, a spirit fit for a king. The monks shared their knowledge with the people, and the art of whiskey making spread across the land. In a land of pure water and golden barley, I found my home. But I wasn't meant to stay here. Soon, I would set sail for new worlds, new drinkers, new legacies. By the 1950s, I was everywhere, poured in crystal glasses on Madison Avenue, sipped in Tokyo jazz bars, served neat on red carpets and business deals. But I wasn't complete. You were drinking me diluted, mixed, blended. And then, something shifted. In 1963, in the heart of Speyside, a family dared to bottle me differently. Glenfiddich, not blended, not softened, a single malt, one distillery, one origin. And then something else happened. The Americans woke up. By the 1970s, Wall Street suits weren't ordering blends anymore. They asked for malts. I became a new badge of sophistication. Suddenly, I wasn't just a Scottish secret. I belonged to Tokyo, to Milan, to Manhattan. From smoky back rooms to gilded bars, the single malt became a cult. By the 1980s, I wasn't just whiskey. I was an experience, a character, a story in every drop. You thought my story belonged to misty hills and centuries-old barrels. But what if I told you the real revolution began here in the heart of India? They said it couldn't be done, that the heat, the dust, the madness of this place could never birth a single malt. But I lived to prove people wrong. In 2004, I took my first breath in the bustling streets of Bangalore. Amrut, the nectar of the gods, the first Indian single malt.
The concept of Amrut is much larger than the brand itself.
We were the first Indian single malt to be launched, so we didn't have any reference or path for us to follow.
Innovation is at the forefront of what we do today.
When the critics sipped, they called me the 3rd best whiskey in the world. The floodgates opened. Soon, from the foothill of the Himalayas, another voice rose. Rampur, elegant, regal, a whiskey aged in extreme climates.
We are proud to have that Indian feeling in each of our products.
We are in the business of spreading happiness.
It's embedded in our blood.
Their Asava expression matured in Indian red wine casks, a first for the world. And slowly, one sip at a time, India rewrote the whiskey rulebook.
Indian single malts have started getting recognition.
Soul & Gold has been conceived by us to match the international standard.
Our products have reached that stage that people from overseas are enjoying this, and they say we love it.
Today, when they speak of single malts, they don't speak of one land anymore. They speak of us, the bold, the fiery, the unapologetic, the Indian single malt revolution. And so, here we are. You've traced my path across centuries, oceans, and empires. You've watched me evolve, from Scottish highlands to Indian heartlands, because now the saga has just begun.